Yo, what is good, y'all? I haven't done one of these in a minute. Usually I only get on here and rant and rave when I feel like it's too much of a conversation to have typing online, or I'm going to have to repeat myself too many times online. I don't feel like doing it. So it's an easier way to just articulate myself through actual speech and get it all up out my skull. So I want to rap about, now that all the dust is settled with Tank versus Ryan Garcia, I just want to talk about a couple of things as it pertains to that fight, and then of course what we call quitting, right? It's been odd, the fandom of Ryan Garcia, in terms of at least my experience online with people who kind of overnight seemed to be Ryan Garcia fans. It really seemed like a lot of these folks didn't care about Garcia at all until that Tank fight was signed, and then all of a sudden it became a matter of allegiances or lack thereof, and for whatever reason, you or certain folks don't want to see Tank or anybody affiliated with Floyd Mayweather or Al Heyman or the PBC to have any successes at all, to have any legitimacy, any respect, anything. They, at every turn, there are people who want failure from those affiliated folks. So I feel like a lot of the fandom was really anti-fandom for Tank, which, you know, I've seen this plenty of times. We've seen this with Floyd. We've seen it with Wilder. I mean, there's a lot of people I could name in that way. But ultimately, there have been folks who have taken exception to what the word quit, when we're talking amongst fight fans, whether you're talking MMA or boxing, but we're obviously specifically talking about boxing right now, there's a negative connotation to the word quit, and it almost implies cowardice, and it's a negative, right? So I prefer to refer to what Ryan Garcia did was to make a choice to not continue fighting. Now, look, I say this clearly and obviously. I've never been a professional fighter, but I competed a lot. You know, I mean, we literally did the opposite. We were paying them to compete, we're not competing for any money. So you definitely want to get out there and do your best, and you want to win, because that's what you came for. You put up money for it, you train for it, you want to win. But I know what it feels like in the gym and outside of the gym to get hurt, to take shots, especially when you're talking about taking kicks to the body, and possibly even knees to the body, including, you know, or along with body punches. But I've been hurt with all that stuff. I know how all of that goes, and I know that there is a choice. Unless you are immobilized, you are down, you are unconscious, bones are broken, you cannot stand, you cannot continue, then you have a choice. People can say what they want to say about that. I don't know what else to tell you other than I know what it feels like to take a knee from a body shot. I know what that is. I know exactly what that is. I know what it's like to want, like the onslaught was about to continue to happen after I'd been hurt with a body shot, so that I took the knee, just as fighters do. So I know what that is, and I also know when you delve into yourself and you make the choice to say no more. I know what that is, man. I've been there, and I know what it's like to have the shame or the embarrassment or just the inner judgment of your own self. You know that you chose to stop. You didn't want to do it anymore. You chose that. With good reason. See, I've talked to some folks online where I think it's being taken as though I am judging Ryan and speaking ill or less of him. Listen, at the end of the day, I am of the belief that Ryan Garcia will, when he looks back on his life as an older man, and that being one of the defining moments of his life and his career, will wish he had gotten up and took what was coming to him, because it is inevitable. I'm sorry, he wasn't going to turn that around. A whooping was coming. You know, it was almost poetic justice or irony that throughout the buildup, one of the press conferences, Garcia said that Tank never punishes anybody. And the funny thing is, Ryan was on the way to getting punished. That was about to happen. Had he chose to stand and fight on, punishment was coming. The blood was already dripping out the nose, the body's hurt, punishment was coming. And he elected to not see that through. That's fine. Listen, man, many men make that choice. I've watched, I don't know how many fights I've ever watched in my life, man, but I've seen many a fighter decide enough was enough. And only you know yourself. What, again, I can tell you is choices get made, and sometimes you're going to be pleased with your decision when you look back, and sometimes you're not. And I think in an instance like this, look, people say, oh, you know, it was the liver punch. Listen, guys have gotten up from that. Guys have fought with broken jaws and you know, various injuries, dislocated shoulder. I mean, guys have fought. So, you know, broken hands, we're not going to... It removes the honor and the respect due to the people who did elect. And they're the minority. Most people would not elect to keep going. That's fine. I'm not dumping on Ryan Garcia. He was hurt. He was beaten. He wasn't going to turn it around. So, okay, that's what we got. But a choice was made. And that's the distinction that I really am pressing on people to go ahead and make. That he was clear-eyed enough, lucid enough to know that he didn't want it anymore. My theory with body shots has always been that, like, when you get buzzed to the head, it doesn't really hurt because the mechanism, the organ that registers pain has been discombobulated. You know what I'm saying? Your mind doesn't really work right. So if you get buzzed hard, I mean, I'll speak for myself. You know, when you almost get clipped and knocked out, you know, the lights come, the darkness comes in from the sides a little bit. That didn't hurt. You're about to be removed from your senses. When your mind is clear, all that body shot stuff, all of the pain receptors and your nerve endings that send that information up to the brain, that stuff is fresh. Your mind works. It's registering all of it, and it hurts. It's a debilitating feeling. You are not factually removed from your options. You just have to put more energy in and more resilience into pushing through and kind of having a devil-may-care attitude about what happens afterwards, because you know you're somewhat debilitated. You're not up to 100%. You're not going to perform as well as you'd like to or need to. And you know that, but you still get up to take your just medicine, your just desserts. Ryan Garcia didn't want to do that, folks, and that's fine. I don't think he should be... I don't call people bums. I never call fighters bums. I don't talk that way because, again, I've had the busted up body parts from kicks and punches and such. I know what it is to lose. And, you know, it's a valuable thing to lose. You get better that way. But I do want to touch on the idea of quitting, that it doesn't necessarily have to be a death sentence in terms of your reputation. I think there are times when it probably is smarter to fold them rather than hold them, you know what I mean? But it needs to be said. I need people to understand it is not a shot at your favorite guy or the guy you wanted to win or whatever to simply state the facts. You could see in Ryan Garcia's face, he was defeated, and the expression told the tale, and the decision ultimately told the tale. He did not want to further that endeavor on that evening, and that's okay. Like I said before online, the special fighters will rise, and to be special, you have to be in the minority. The majority of people can't be special, otherwise they wouldn't be special. So all that is to say is that this is a young guy who tried his hand. He got in there, did what he could do. I think if he's to continue with his career, why is your turn signal on and you going straight? It's a turn signal, brother. Anyway, if he's to continue on with his career, I think Ryan Garcia really needs to re-examine what it is to be a student and what role a teacher and trainer is supposed to play in your life, what you are supposed to allow them to do, and what you're supposed to do to apply yourself. You cannot be the center of the world at all times, especially when you are the young pupil, the Padawan. You're not a Jedi Master yet. And there needs to be an acceptance of that, and just let the process do what the process does. This will be a great learning experience for him if he approaches it maturely. And again, there's rumblings that he may have split with Joe Goosen. I got other thoughts on that, but I'm not gonna make a whole video. We'll let that ride until the next conversation. But whoever Ryan Garcia decides to go forward with, you're going to need to concede to the leadership of your corner and your trainer, your teacher, and absorb the game. Approach boxing seriously. Live the fighter's lifestyle. Absorb as much as you can. It's a young man's game. He's 23, 24 years old now, but he will not be for long. And if you want to make it out of this thing with your faculties intact and your bank account intact, you're going to have to get serious about what you're doing. Find the right trainer, maybe take some time off, get to the fundamentals, spend 8, 9 months, a year, I don't care. You're young enough that your career can afford it, and perfect your craft. Hone your skills and get your stuff right so that you can get the most out of yourself, because you just never know. At the end of the day, I appreciate both fighters for climbing in the ring and doing what they did. For us, the viewers and the fans, provides great excitement and drama, and it's commendable, because it's the most dangerous sport on earth, and that's an inarguable fact. It's the most deadly on earth. So at the end of the day, excuses and stuff aside, he got in there and he did what he can do. So we're gonna give that up. I don't think there's anything wrong with recognizing the conscious decision to quit, because, like with my own experiences, having done so under totally much smaller and meaningful circumstances, those are times I went home from the gym and I'm like, man, like, yo, you got to look at the man in the mirror and decide who it is you want to be. And if it's going to require more work for you to become who you want to become, that's where it is. And that's where failure or losing is more valuable than winning, because you learn some things, you extract some things about yourself. The ring is a truth teller, and you will find out about you if you ever climb in there. You're going to find out about yourself. So anyway, appreciate y'all's time if you did actually make it all the way through to this, but I just needed to make the distinction and discuss quitting, because there's a lot of stuff that gets thrown around on boxing message boards and pages that just, you can tell some folks lack the experience and the insight of a person who's put their body on the line in that way. And as a person who knows how it feels, I'm empathetic and sympathetic to what I see when I look inside the ring. So I'm not going to judge Ryan Garcia that harshly. I mean, I think some things should have happened. You talk a certain way, you make your bed, you got to lay in it. But there's a growing opportunity here, an opportunity to learn. So hopefully he'll do that, and we'll see what he does next, man. Lightweight division is really fire right now. So let's see what it is, man. I'll holler at y'all. All right, peace.